in general, it's just really hard to deal with, especially for someone like FORTISSIM. So they're definitely going to have to play very passively. Well, I wouldn't say passively, but they're going to try to look for a lot of options that could definitely change for the greater good. And very good find by Fort.
And you can see immediately, yeah, DPC is going to be get with a little bit of garbage, so not quite going to be getting a DPC solve and loop. However, we can see the speed is really starting to come out for FORTISSIM and really starting to stride a little bit, but so is TOGAIATS with a 4.1 pieces per second and actually going to take the first round off of FORTISSIM.
Oh, that speed was phenomenal by TOGAIATS. You can definitely see that they're very passionate about this sort of match, especially when qualifying at a very low seed, just so desperately wanting to be part of this group, and FORTISSIM is just barely trying to keep it together, and they're keeping up that back-to-back pressure regardless of the speed, and TOGAIATS is just changing it all the way back, but Fort is still having the game of their lives with this back-to-back chain. It's going to have to break it, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, 20 and 17 spiked. Both players answering immediately. And very nice T-spin single, though, from Fort, able to start building up that back-to-back, but also keeps it clean as they move the stack over. But TOGAIATS huge spike!
But TOGAIATS is able to keep up the pressure just when you thought that Fort was going to go down, but TOGAIATS just told them, no, you can't go down.
217 APM out of TOGAIATS and a 2-0 to make a very commanding start. There's the all clear after the MKO. Fort, I believe, went for SDPC skim, maybe?
That was SDPC spin, my friend.
Spin! Okay, the other one. Alright, well, there's a lot of other ones, but it was working on it. Okay.
Very good prophecy by Fort, too. Oh, boy. It definitely looks like Fort is just really taking their time with this sort of thing, and TOGAIATS is clearly trying to find a fix for this misdrop. Barely
gets down to it just in time, and the garbage again is clean. Sends off that counter spike, but Fort just able to play through expertly and not going to be losing very much ground, even as a result of that fantastic offense that TOGAIATS is really starting to push on these Jets.
Yeah, Fort isn't
and the two quads and spike, but Fort's still alive. Oh, and runs out of skim.
Not for long. TOGAIATS has a fairly strong lead. Are we gonna get an upset soon? I know this is pretty early.
I mean, Fort is one of the hardest players to pull that off against, but at this rate, it could very well likely happen. But Fort, with a commanding SDPC into the DPC continuation, doesn't even make it to that second all clear because it's too much pressure too soon, and TOGAIATS tops out.
Oh, this is some very good finds by Fort with this SDPC pressure, but TOGAIATS is really, really good at being able to cancel all of that. And Fort is really going to have to stick to that mid-game pressure if they really want to kill TOGAIATS, which seems to be quite a Herculean task, and they're just doing their best, and TOGAIATS is just continuing that back-to-back momentum. Finding the STSD, I almost said SDPC, I apologize, that's Fort's job.
Oh my goodness, look at the APM in this match, 240 and 220 on player averages at this point. There's a crazy amount of offense going off, and the spike to follow up from TOGAIATS, the 8 back-to-back solidifying that Game 5 win for TOGAIATS, and I think Fort definitely, has to run a little bit with a bit of this opener play. Seems to be doing a fantastic job at it, but this might potentially be their win condition, and it's never a comfortable one to have to rely on.
Yeah, TOGAIATS is really starting to play very
10 back-to-back, though, from Fort, and Fort has very little garbage incoming.
Oh my god, Fort is just trying their best to not get absolutely spat on by TOGAIATS' speed. But TOGAIATS can fix it.
Wow, and just so quickly as well. And TOGAIATS really starting to turn on the Jets once again and is going to try and see if they're building up back-to-back. It's now a race to see who can get that back-to-back up in time. Fort initially starting to pull the weight. Little bit tight, but both players will have to break it. A lot of that good pressure from both.
Oh no, but TOGAIATS with the misdrops, but does manage to make a T-spin out of that mistake. It's just always a good fix for all sorts of problems, and TOGAIATS is proving that quite as well, and Fort is having a hard time trying to combat it.
Fort miscounts on the T-spin.
Oh my god, Fort being able to recover just okay, and just finding that T-spin. They're going to need to greed a bit in order to do some sort of damage and recovery.
Oh,
but
and a
the guy
fantastic
pressure.
mini T-spin, able to help keep back-to-back. Untimely T-piece, so that back-to-back for Fort will break. But TOGAIATS has done a fantastic job of making sure not to leave a lot of garbage on their board at any time frame to make sure they have the maximum amount of their man-made stack to work with.
Yeah, there's so much clean for TOGAIATS to really make out of, and Fort is doing their damnedest to really do something with it. Just, ooh.
That is an interesting spot. Oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, well, gives up back-to-back. Tries to go for the top out, but unfortunately it's not going to happen.
God, the speed. TOGAIATS
very careful spins from FORTISSIM, but it's working out in their favor. TOGAIATS, though, is starting to build up a lot of back-to-back, and this is going to get scary for Forts. No, the eyepiece doesn't spin!
Oh, that is so much clean, but Fort didn't clear it with that unfortunate misdrop. I have never seen TOGAIATS play at a speed equivalent to a Formula 1 car, for all I know. Because that is Brazil's best speed demon.
Early spike from Fort. TOGAIATS has a couple of scam options. There is the out, and they get the quad on the combo as well. And now Fort's got to be a little careful. Has to bail on a T-spin double setup. But manages to get that combo through.
Oh my god, TOGAIATS is really good at fixing all of these, and Fort is trying to keep up with this momentum. Just watching him try to clear all of these spots, and
that's going to be a tough misdrop, and TOGAIATS immediately sending a spike. The T-spin none forces FORTISSIM's APM to compromise, and this is a 6-1 lead that TOGAIATS has over FORTISSIM. Early eyepiece, as we see Fort now going to be going back to that TeamTSD opener that we see them always to go for usually.
Oh yeah, and that reliable TSD from FORTISSIM, as we so see from a lot of tournaments. But TOGAIATS with the macro play is going to be a savior in his plans, and gonna have to dig down just as a matter of fact. And Fort, oh, very good spike by Fort. They're gonna need to fix a bit of holes though that they so made in favor of getting another one with the STSD
wow, and that's another TSD.
Oh my god, Fort is just playing out of their mind, but they really need to do something to get them in the lead. And TOGAIATS is just gatekeeping all of that just to secure that top 16 spot. And Fort is struggling.
Man, and yeah, TOGAIATS just has like a general overall speed advantage over Fort, which generally hasn't happened in the past, but I definitely think it's starting to catch up with them. Okay, and we see Fort going with the blitz strats. Here's the all clears, DPC, and a lot of garbage. But TOGAIATS able to send some. Oh, can TOGAIATS get through? This is the second DPC from Fort. Fort is still looping, and TOGAIATS is still going through. Unfortunate misdrop from Fort. And TOGAIATS now has a ton of clean, ready to send the trigger at a moment's notice. There's a ton of back-to-back, but a ton of multiplier potential from Fort, and they're now over to their center well.
Oh, Fort, but all of that PC momentum, does that really matter into the mid-game? Because TOGAIATS is just sending all of them back to them, just a trade of damage. And Fort is just struggling underneath the pressure. And the greed, too. It's
oh, no, there's no skim option there. And that's another for TOGAIATS. Almost 240 APM out of both players. But just really making a huge wave for themselves. 8-1 for TOGAIATS' favor. Fort is going to continue potentially with the blitz. No, they're just going to go through, get some T-spins here and there, and try and make some magic happen.
Oh my god, Fort. They're in such a dire situation. They've tried everything to see what works, and Fort is just having so many plans just be funneled all thanks to TOGAIATS' defense. They're just here to be a brick wall and not to just tank all of it, but just to send it all the way back. And Fort is just doing their best to really counteract that. Even with this ST stacking, it's gonna be really hard for them to keep up the momentum. And TOGAIATS is just there to harass. He's just there to harass and just stop everything. But the high misdrop.
Fort has the 7-2 though. Back to back. Unfortunately, it goes up, but it gets broken just as fast. And another misdrop. And unfortunately for Fort, every mistake has been costly against the over 4 pieces per second TOGAIATS. Just sending APM, striding like no tomorrow. An unfortunate T-piece misdrop for them. Maybe Fort might be able to get a quick up here potentially.
Yeah, but the speed, though! The speed from TOGAIATS, he's able to fix that already! This is something that Fort wasn't ready for, especially if they're 1 point out of 9 compared to TOGAIATS, and
Oh
TOGAIATS...
no, and the skims run out for FORTISSIM!
This is
And
upset potential!
That's 10-1 in TOGAIATS' favor. Fort really has a lot of work cut out for them. Alright, gonna be doing a little bit of... oh wow, and Fort with the counter spike is now really trying to blitz it out, but again, another misdrop. And I think they've been having a lot of struggles playing fast. And TOGAIATS' speed is going to prevail as an 11-1 commanding lead, able to bring things through. Fantastic stuff from them. And you can see the APM doesn't have too much of a differentiation, but that extra little bit of speed, especially at these